had a recent conversation over the phone with a woman, and it inspired this conversation that you and I are about to have. And of course, it's related to diabetes and diabetes medication. So, if you are a woman who has been prescribed medication for type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, and maybe you've thought that, hey, as long as I'm on medication, I'm good. I can eat what I want to eat. I can decide not to exercise because I am fully relying on the medication to keep me well and healthy. I'm going to need you to stay tuned to this conversation. Now, it's your girl, Coach Nick, with the beautifully well conversations. And we're not keeping quiet about type 2 diabetes and common medications today. This is an informing conversation. It's going to bring education and awareness. What it's not going to do is replace your current medical advice. All right? Don't stop taking your medication or changing your medication without first communicating with your healthcare team, your healthcare provider. But we need to be informed, y'all. We need to be informed. This idea that medication alone is going to sustain life and take the place of lifestyle changes. Oh, let me just get into it. Oh, and let me also add, this is a non-judgmental space. Come on now. You know, your girl is a national board certified health coach, certified in behavior psychology. So this conversation is non-judgmental, is definitely not shame. I hope by the end of our time together, you feel empowered, educated, and I know you want to share this episode with another person. All right, let's jump in. You know, a lot of us, we're walking around tired, we're stressed out. This weight gain is picking up, y'all, and it's just giving us that extra fat around the belly area where we're craving sugar, we're going ham on the snacks, and at the same time, we're also waking up exhausted, brain fog, forgetting things. We're contributing this to the aging process. Yeah, possibly. For those of us going through perimenopause and menopause, there's definitely a connection, but is that it? We're not talking about type 2 diabetes for no reason. Sometimes blood sugar is quietly playing around in the background. And so we're going to have to break this down. We're going to talk about the top 3 medications, right? Because really, at the end of the day, what I would hope that we all want is managed blood sugar. We want better blood sugar, blood glucose control. And we want our medications, if you're on medication, you want the medication to be even more effective for the sake of your health because you're also going to implement some lifestyle changes. So we're going to talk about the top 3. I have to talk about the side effects. Maybe you've experienced them and they're a topic for conversation with your healthcare provider as well. But then, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We're going to talk about these medications, the side effects, and also what they do. How do they help? But I'm also going to leave you with the top 3 self-care tips in order to successfully manage your blood sugar levels. And why are we even talking about this? Well, the simple answer, our body uses glucose or sugar for energy. And insulin helps move that sugar from the bloodstream into our cells. But when a blood sugar stays too high for too long, it can quickly damage the body over time. And so what are we talking about? When we're not managing blood sugar, this is not just about spikes in glucose. We're talking about heart disease, kidney problems, can't see, vision changes, nerve damage. You've heard of neuropathy, increased inflammation, right? You think your joints hurt now, but there are multiple things that are impacted when our when our body is overloaded with inflammation, slow healing, falls, cuts, right? Wounds that don't heal right away or like they used to. And at the beginning of this conversation, I had already mentioned the brain fog and that excessive tiredness. So, but then we have to think about for us women over 40, we have to take this to the next level because our changes, the hormonal changes affect insulin sensitivity. And we know that insulin plays a big role in this. So when the body is off already due to the hormonal changes, so hormonal changes and a prediabetes or type 2 diabetes diagnosis, oh my goodness, I already know how you're feeling. Let's not forget about the stress effect because the stress hormones, cortisol, number one, increases blood sugar. I'm going to say the word sleep. Okay. And here's the follow up question: how many hours of sleep are you getting? 7 is recommended, the 7 to 8 window. Did you know that sleep changes affect your cravings? Those sugary cravings, it affects the metabolism. So lack of sleep or not having sufficient sleep increases weight gain as well. And then let's talk about how strong we feel or how strong we are, knowing that naturally we lose muscle, but that muscle mass is naturally decreasing. So what do we have? This is bigger than us losing weight here. We're talking about our health as a whole, the future of our health. And so, why, before I go into the medication, I want to talk about why blood sugar management is important because we are not just relying on medication if we were prescribed to help us feel well, healthy, and whole. It has to be a combination. So, let's talk about the first most popular medication. And you know what that is, y'all. It's the metformin. Metformin is even prescribed not just for type 2 diabetes, but in some cases for pre-diabetes as well. And so what does metformin do? It helps the liver to release less sugar. So it manages how much sugar, right, is released. And it improves how the body responds to insulin, and it is designed to lower blood sugar levels over time. So it usually don't cause major drops in blood sugar when taken by itself. You know, if people, don't typically eat before they take medication, metformin is one of those medications that typically won't drop the sugar if it is taken alone. But women will typically notice what are some of the side effects to this that, you may have uh, less of an appetite. Some weight loss could occur. I shouldn't call this a side effect, just say that most women, what they notice when they take metformin is that your appetite reduces. You could experience some weight loss and your energy could stabilize, maybe more stable energy. But the common side effects, the most common is the nausea, the diarrhea, gas and bloating, the stomach discomfort, right? Gut on a rut. The gut could be out of control. But I'm not laughing about that. I'm just saying, y'all, some of the most common side effects are associated with gut health. But listen, if you've ever taken metformin and you thought, why is your stomach fighting for your life? Those are common side effects. So, what do some of the providers recommend? Well, then we go back to take it with food, starting with the lower dose or using an extended release version. So, another thing you want to talk about in this conversation with your physician are those possible long term side effects like low vitamin B12, the low vitamin, those levels, so that they are monitored. So something to keep in mind. So, and yeah, I'm going to keep emphasizing the fact that medication works best when it is paired with lifestyle changes. And towards the end, I'm really going to hit that one hard. Now, I know what you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for me to talk about those GLP-1 medications, Ozempic. Everybody's talking about the GLP-1s. And so other medications beyond Ozempic, you may have heard the Wegovy, Mounjaro, Trulicity. But what do these medications do? The medications help to increase the insulin release when blood sugar rises. They also can slow down digestion, they reduce the appetite, and they help people feel fuller longer. And so as a result of this, um, you have weight loss, lower blood sugar, right? Because it's going to bring the blood sugar levels down, and it could possibly reduce the cravings as well. So for some patients, these medications work. They're effective. But you also know, y'all, we're in an age of social media, and social media creates this idea that these GLP-1 medications are a quick fix. And that is not the case at all. We still have to see them as medications that will come with potential side effects and risk. And some of the most common side effects include the nausea, the vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, stomach pain, reduced appetite, and some even talk about the fatigue. And this can also happen when you're not getting enough protein or nutrients. There are also some more serious side effects that providers will have to monitor. So this is what you want to be aware of, like pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, those severe stomach problems. Because remember, we talked about nausea and vomiting, constipation, that stomach pain being a part of those most common side effects, but you want to monitor it because severe stomach problems can prove to be a bigger problem. So this is important. So while women can lose weight quickly, some can, but if we never address the underlying other concerns like stress, emotional eating, um, not moving, right? Lack of exercise. And if you haven't figured out that sleep routine that helps your body to rejuvenate, then you literally could be contributing to the blood sugar imbalance, even though weight, you're losing weight. So if the medication stops, when you're no longer on a GLP-1, you've lost the weight, what's going to help you maintain it? Those lifestyle changes that you've incorporated along the way, they do matter. Let's get to our third medication, and that is insulin. So now a lot of people, when they think about insulin, there's stigma surrounding it, but remember that insulin is a hormone that your body naturally makes. But because of diabetes, some people don't make enough insulin. And so as a result of that, or the body is not using the insulin effectively. So insulin therapy helps move the sugar from the bloodstream into the cells. Insulin lowers blood sugar and helps to prevent dangerously high glucose levels. But there are different types. Which type, if you've been prescribed insulin, do you even know your insulin type? There's fast acting, long acting, mealtime insulin, and basal insulin. I'm not going to go through all the types. I'm just going to say, now you have an assignment. Know what type of insulin that you're on and be prepared to have those conversations. If you're not on insulin and it's been talked about, your healthcare provider has talked about it, they know based on your personal situation what is the best type to support you. Now, let's talk about the insulin side effects. The common side effects is low blood sugar, weight gain, and injection site irritation, right? But low blood sugar, when that blood sugar drops, it can also cause the shakiness, dizziness, sweats, confusion, even feeling weak. And this is why the education part is so important. Every medication comes with some level of side effect. And let's be real, side effects vary by the person, which is why we're not just taking medication just to take it. you should be monitoring how you feel when you take medication so that you are well aware of any changes. And with the support of your healthcare provider, being able to identify if the changes that you are experiencing are commonplace and will eventually subside once this medication is really in your system and working, or if you are experiencing adverse side effects that could be hurting you. Awareness, right? So, um, we've talked about the three most common: metformin, your Ozempic, your GLP-1s, and we've talked about insulin and its role. So now let me talk about what you can do. How do you implement some of what I call my top three tips for managing blood sugar levels? Number one, prioritize the protein that you are taking. Protein is so important. And how do you balance the meals, right? Because eating carbs all by themselves throughout the day will naturally spike blood sugar. So I'm just going to leave you with this example. Listen close. If for breakfast you only had coffee, a donut, some type of cinnamon bun, pastry, a glass of juice, or sugary cereal, bowl of cereal, or them packets of oatmeal, you know what I'm talking about, the maple oats, your blood sugar is going to spike quickly and crash later. So, how do you find a balance when you pair the carbs? So, you pair carbs with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Let me give you a couple of examples, like a scrambled egg or boiled egg with fruit, Greek yogurt with berries, a chicken salad, salmon and vegetables, apple slices with peanut butter. The balanced meals help stabilize your energy and your cravings. So, tip one, prioritize that protein, balance out those meals. Tip number two is so underrated, and yet, oh, when I tell you it's a mic drop. And for those of you who like walks and you're already walking, great, kudos to you. For those of you who want to level up, tip number two is to walk, but specifically after meals. It doesn't have to be a long walk, y'all. I'm talking about a 10 to 15-minute walk after eating meals will help support blood sugar management. This movement helps the muscles to use glucose more efficiently. Get your walk on. And you don't have to go outside. You don't have to be outside for this to happen. Walk around a house. But I mean, hey, I'm in Baltimore, y'all. It's summertime. It's summertime all over the United States. you know, um, get outside and catch some fresh air and walk around so your muscles can use up some of that glucose. All right. So, 10 minutes, 15 minutes after a meal, consistency more so than perfection, y'all. Perfect does not live here. So, your number two tip, get up and get a walk on. Get some walking on, some level of movement after you eat. And y'all know tip number three, I can't talk about this enough. Okay. I am your self care advocate. And I don't play about my sleep. Yes, I'm still taking my 12-hour nap sabbatical once a month. And this stress thing, y'all, we already talked about the cortisol effect and how it can impact blood sugar levels, even spiking blood sugar levels. So the tip number three is a given: managing stress and sleep, because stress absolutely impacts the blood sugar. When stress hormones are elevated, what are we doing? Craving everything but what we probably should eat. Those cravings are going to increase. The stress breeds anxiety and an inability to get a good night's sleep. So you're just tossing and turning all night. Blood sugar rising and emotional eating, right? Because we just need to self-soothe for the moment. So we're grabbing a Pepsi, we're grabbing a Coke, we're grabbing chocolate chip cookies, oatmeal raisin, maybe it's the brownie, maybe it's the ice cream. The emotional eating becomes harder to control because we're stressed out and we just want to find a way to feel better. And these cravings, of course, they're giving us a little bit of hint of energy, but then it's going to bring us back down. And we know that stress is inevitable. We're surrounded by the noise. And take a look at your to-do list, right? Because many of us are carrying the weight of a lot of responsibilities. You have a big role. You work. You have a career. You may be a caregiver to your aging parents. You have children. They may be young or adult children. We know about the adult children. They might be over 18, over 21. They might not even be living up in your house, but we're still supporting them, right? As a parent, we are a parent forever. So we're carrying a lot of this stuff, the financial pressure. I mean, we're going to the supermarket paying for bags, and we're walking out spending $50+ with one double bag. Okay. So the financial pressure, the economic challenges that we are facing here today affects us, where we've lost loved ones. We're battling grief with all the weight of our responsibilities on our shoulders. No doubt we are beyond overwhelmed. We are burning out. So I know you're a high functioning woman. You have found a way throughout your day to day life to still get things done. And because you are able to function and be the be all at times, you can easily forget that your body has not forgotten the fact that it is stressed out. And so it's what you don't see, sis. What you don't see is having a party inside of your body. And how so? Because your body is keeping score. Stress affects blood sugar management, and self-care is imperative. So how do you define self-care? Do you even have a self-care routine? Does your self-care routine have to require money? Does your self-care routine revolve around a vacation? No, we are practicing self-care on a daily basis. I'm going to give you a few tips, right? Some things that you can do. The deep breathing, 5 deep inhales on a count of 5 and exhale. If you are a spiritual being, have conversations with your creator. The walks that we just talked about, now you're doing 2 for 1, right? That number 2 tip was about exercise and movement. Well, guess what? That movement is also going to support managing stress. So we're going to walk. Y'all know I got the sauna therapy listed up in here. Don't sleep on that. Better sleep habits, aiming to get that sleep routine down. If you're that person that's unable to go to sleep as soon as your head hit the pillow, that may mean that that sleep routine needs a little work and adjusting. Your body may need to take some time before you reach that bed to know that you're getting ready for rest. Set them boundaries. I'm going to say that one again. Set the boundaries. Your ability to do more things or help someone out. And I'm not saying be a meanie. I am just saying that your boundaries, the boundaries that you set, are really more about your ability to prioritize your mental and emotional capacity. Setting a boundary should not only be based on the time on the clock, because a lot of times we can look at that clock and you got 2 hours. There's nothing on the calendar, on the schedule. You can sit down and pause wherever you want that pause to be. And then out the blue, someone calls. But because you don't have something written down or listed for you to do at that time, there's this assumption that you are available physically. And from a time perspective, you might be. But mentally and emotionally, your body is saying, sit your tail down. You need to sit on right on down right here by this in this favorite room, in this chair with the light, with the shades up, curtains up, or curtains drawn. No, not curtains drawn, because you want that sunlight in, right? So you're sitting in your favorite chair, sipping on your favorite beverage, just enjoying a pause for the moment. That's what your capacity is for that moment. So set those boundaries and find your support, y'all. Community is everything. That's why we have Club Beautiful, our free online virtual community. Absolutely free to join. We need support. All right. So, okay, I've talked about a lot. I've said a lot. But at the end of the day, if it's one thing that you take away from this episode, I want it to be that diabetes management, and I'm including prediabetes in this conversation as well, it is not just about medication. It's about awareness, that self-awareness, education. You need to know what you're taking. That awareness comes from allowing yourself to recognize the changes and some of the good changes as a result of it as well. And of course, the lifestyle support. How important it is to have a lifestyle routine that centers around your overall well being, the ability to manage stress, the ability to get some sleep, the ability to balance those meals, and to get movement, get that body moving. So, the other thing, if you've been avoiding your numbers, okay, right now, if I asked you, okay, what's your A1C? What's your fasting glucose? What are your numbers? If you have an appointments are scheduled for you every 3 months or every 6 months, when is that appointment? Or have you not scheduled it? Are you avoiding the labs? Honey, let me tell you something. This is your life. This is your journey. And healthy is still beautiful up over here. Know your numbers. Know your if you have a healthcare team involved, keep them involved. Set those appointments, get the lab work done. Know your labs currently, know those numbers. This truly is your sign, if you have not been before this conversation, that now you're paying attention. Because prevention and management today, taking these steps today, is going to help you live that full life, that longevity that you crave. That's going to happen. What you do today impacts what life looks like tomorrow. We already know that. So I'm going to um, just, go back to a couple of disclaimers here, y'all, because I'm telling you, I am not replacing your healthcare provider. This information is for education, information, and self-awareness. We just want you to be educated in this, to know what you out there doing, and give you a few tips along the way. I'm the most excited. You got to know your girl's only going to bring you information from the sources, right? The American Diabetes Association, the CDC's Diabetes and Mental Health page, the Mayo Clinic's Diabetes Management and Lifestyle Factors. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share even a few quotes because according to the American Diabetes Association, lifestyle management and medication together are critical parts of blood sugar control. But what did the CDC have to say about this? Well, they emphasize the fact that healthy eating, movement, stress management, and taking medications as prescribed are foundational to diabetes care. The Mayo Clinic reports that nausea, constipation, and digestive discomfort are among the most common side effects of the GLP-1 medications like Ozempic. And our last quote is the American Diabetes Association continues to recognize metformin as a commonly used first-line medication for type 2 diabetes. So, we're at the end of this conversation. Are you empowered? I hope so. Are you excited because you invested some time into your health journey just by tuning in? And guess what? If you are empowered, there is another woman out there who wants to be empowered too. So share this podcast. Don't keep it all to yourself. Don't hold it all in. Don't forget to visit us at amaninicole.com. We get social, y'all. Instagram and Facebook at Amani Nicole Wellness. And don't forget that we have our free online virtual program, Club Beautiful, so that we can stay connected. In the meantime, you are already beautiful. Let's get beautifully well.